Now today we are going to discuss on a blast furnace slag where chemistry meets casting performance. In just a few minutes we will decode the science behind the slag composition, basicity, temperature and viscosity, and how to control for smooth stable operation. That aspects also will be looked into. As you must be knowing that four major oxide constitute 96% of the blast furnace slag. They are basically these four oxides are silica, calcium oxide, magnesium oxide, and alumina. This is also a basic concept that is to be remembered, that the major constituents are these four oxides, which constitute 96% of the slag. Now, silica and alumina are acidic. There is the liquidus temperature and viscosity both. So these are basically the characteristic of silica and alumina. Okay. Coming to the calcium and magnesium, they are basically basic in nature. They lower temperature and improve flow. This balance is a heart of slag design, and in the any discussion or any operation of the furnaces, we need to remember this fundamental. So there are three basicity ratios, and always we term, and this is also to remember and aid in memory. This all these three basicity ratio. B2 is the quick check, that is CaO over SiO2. B3 add MgO for fluidity control, and B4 include alumina Al₂O₃, critical for Indian ores. Now use B2 for trending, B3 for casting, and B4 when alumina exceed 14%, as the detailed information is already displayed in the slide. Now coming to the liquidus temperature, each oxide affects temperature and viscosity. So silica and alumina increases both, that is mm, temperature and viscosity. Now CaO and MgO, as we have already discussed, that these two components improve fluidity. Keeping slab above 1400 degrees centigrade for optimal casting is one of the most required point, and below 1350 is the danger zone and solidification risk, and really it is create a disaster if we come across such type of boundary. So let's calculate with 40% Ca and 36% SiO2. B2 is 1.11, is perfect. And now if we add 10% MgO, B3 becomes 1.39, great fluidity. Now if we include 10% alumina, B4 is 1.09, which is acceptable. So this slag will cast beautifully at 1400 degrees centigrade, and there will be no issue in evacuation of the furnaces. Now coming to the higher silica, means more CO is needed in order to keep this CO by SiO2 or B2 basicity within a range. So for 38% silica, target B2 of 1.15, which require around 43% CaO. Now using the formula CaO, which is nothing but SiO2 into B2, uh, we have to adjust the lime stone flux accordingly. So this is a basically approach towards balancing the basicity. Now, as for the CaO is concerned, CaO improves fluidity but raises liquidus temperature also. Too little CaO makes slag acidic and sticky. Too much make it overly fluid also. So keeping CO in a balanced manner, that is in between 40-42% is having a best results. Now coming to the MgO is your secret weapon. It lowers viscosity without raising temperature. So ideal range is 9 to 12%. Each 1% MgO drop can reduce viscosity by up to zero point 0.5 poise. This we have to remember, that sensitivity of MgO of 1% is related with the viscosity in terms of zero point 0.5. So, so this is a very important aspect while designing the blast furnace slag. Now, alumina is the enemy of casting. At above 15% viscosity skyrocket. At 20%, slag becomes very difficult in casting, keeping viscosity below 5 pas, and especially this range of slag is very sensitive because any thermal shock can affect its fluidity drastically, and evacuation of the blast furnace problem will also increase. Now, use of B4 ratio and increased CO-MgO are the means to counteract such issue of viscosity. Now here is your quick guide. If a slag is too thick, add CO and MgO. If casting fail, reduce alumina urgently. Every oxide adjustment affect multiple properties. So we must have to think holistically by going through this slide in a more focused way. Now coming to the taffle temperatures, this is also very important, and each 1% oxide changes shift temperature by a wide margin. Now silica add 5 to 8 degree centigrade, alumina add around 4 to 7 degree, and use of these all component, though it looks very simple to design slag for 1350, 1400, 1450, depends on the furnace condition. So understanding of these changes and effect on temperature is very important in designing the blast furnace slag. Now CO-MgO ratio is concerned, balance CO-MgO a ratio of 3.5 to 4.5 gives good fluidity and refractory life. Now to fix viscosity, increase MgO while keeping increasing MgO, keeping CO steady. This is our primary casting solution, and in the most of the time operator must have to prefer this strategy. Now coming to the formula summary, now we have to memorize these 7 formula: B2, B3, B4, CO requirement, total basic oxide, CO by MgO ratio, and the 96% composition rule. And these are our basically daily tools, and in day-to-day operation of the furnace, these all the formulas are to keep into mind. Now, as far the liquid prediction is concerned, we must have to also learn that estimation of liquidus temperature, which is equal to T, and which equals to 1200 degree centigrade plus 200 into B2 basicity plus 100 into alumina. That is for high alumina. For high alumina, we have to use B4 instead. Of course, target our temperature will be around 1400 to 1450 for smooth casting. So once our target is known, accordingly we can tune our basicity as per this thumb rule. Now coming to the operator's workflow, uh, we have to measure the slag composition on a regular basis. We have to calculate B2, B3, B4, and we have to diagnose the problem as well. And accordingly the burden adjustment is to be done. We have to monitor the temperature, we have to verify the casting, we have to see the evacuation period, slag delays, and all those we have to see in each cast what is the difference, what is the inconsistency is there, and accordingly we have to act. Now coming to the control room targets, we have to print this table as it is shown. Silica should be less than 40%, CO should around more than 35%, MgO at least must be 7%, and alumina should be less than, of course, the minimum mark is 15 to 16%, But of course, in Indian condition, this remains on a higher end, and so accordingly we have to tune our slag, we have to design our slag. As far B3 is concerned, 1.4 to 1.5 band is good enough, and aim temperature of the slag must be around 1450 for a best result, and where we can able to maintain the viscosity lesser than 5 poise, and these are basically factors which are absolutely non-negotiable. As far the final takeaway is concerned, we must have to remember the four oxide control everything. Hit these three target: basicity, temperature, and viscosity. That is basicity, temperature, and viscosity, and this will be our secret of success in a best operational result from blast furnace. We must have to measure, calculate, adjust, and verify all the results about which we are talking so long, and that is how we can master our slag and ensure the successful castings and evacuations issue in a better way.